Greetings and welcome to beautiful Pickett, Wisconsin on the 16th day of June 2026. On the stand today, I've got an engine that I just featured in episode 39 of Engine Talk. So if you want to know the whole history of this engine, please go and watch that video because I'm not going to go into all of that again right now. All I'm going to say is that this is a compromised engine, once again, a compromised OS 61FSR-H engine converted to run, well, just configured to run as an aircraft engine. As you can see, it's got a helicopter head on it, it's got an aircraft exhaust, and it's got all the stuff to run a prop. So this is an engine that I just recently replaced the bearings in. It was sent to me by an awesome gentleman named Ryan, who unfortunately when he was flying it in his helicopter in the cool down period, the rear race on the rear bearing came out and kind of went through the engine. I cleaned the engine up. He donated the engine to me. I cleaned it up and did what I could to get it to run, and it has compression at this moment. But because of the condition of the sleeve and the piston, I'm not sure that's going to last. Now you'll have to go back to episode 39 of Engine Talk to see all the details of that, but all I can say is I'm not entirely sure this engine is going to run. But for all intents and purposes, it feels and looks like it should be a running engine at this moment. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give this thing a shot, see if I can get it to run. Even if I can get one run out of it with a video, hey, that's a good thing. If it only starts up and then dies as soon as it warms up, well, then I'll have the answer to my question as to whether I can get it to run again or not. So I've got an APC 12.6 prop on here, an OS number 8 plug, and some 5% fuel. Now, when Ryan gave this engine to me, it came with a 7H carburetor on it, which is the helicopter carb. It's got the longer throttle arm extension. I chose because when I did my testing on that, it just didn't seem like it was closing off fuel flow completely with the high-speed needle close, so it might need some O-rings replaced. So what I did was I also have a 61FSR engine, aircraft engine, and I just took my carb off of that, and of course this exhaust is from that engine, and this is a 7M carb. This is the carb that came with my 61FSR that I got at a swap meet a couple of years ago. It is not, I do not believe, the stock carburetor that came with these engines. But with all that said, let's fire this thing up and see if we can get a good run out of this. Oh, and by the way, I just want to add this. If you look in the background and you see that hill and that tree line, on my neighbor's property, that is a place that is called The Hill, and it is a hill. There's a rise there. There's lots of beautiful oak trees in there and some other native trees. For the last few days, last week actually, and continuing today after these runs, we will be back up there clearing out the bottoms of those trees in that hill area on this side to make room for the growth of these trees, and so you can actually see the tree trunks. Hopefully you could see that, but before you couldn't even see the tree trunks at all. It was so grown up. We've made two huge burn piles that somehow we've got to find some time this year to get burned up, but that's what I've been doing in my non-airplane time. Okay, so first run of this thing, and Wayne from Australia, if you're watching this video, I want to say thank you very much for this beautiful Nye starter that you gave me, and battery pack, because it's really phenomenal. So let's see here, is the first thing is it going to suck fuel? It seems to be drawing fuel fine, and since this was just completely opened up, I'm going to really heavily prime it. I'm not sure where I'm at with this high-speed needle, so I'm going to go 1, 2.5. This was my carb that I ran, so I don't know why I just did that, because it was probably in a running state for that engine. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here with this one. Okay, so I can't see it from here, so hopefully you guys can see it better. I see fuel coming out somewhere on this engine. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I think you know what I want to do? I think I have the means to do it. I'd like to change carbs on this because I did bring the original carb. I'm going to see if I've got a nut driver or something that I can loosen this up with and swap carbs and put that other carb that came with this engine on it and see what happens then. Okay, so I've got the OS7H carb on here now, and let's see if I can find my tachometer and fire this thing up. I've already primed the engine. I wanted to see if it would prime up okay. So now I've got this other carb on here, and I did the fuel tubing trick on it just to see if it would seal it any better. That's interesting. As soon as I took that off, it died. Coming out somewhere. Obviously the low speed needs to be adjusted some because it is a little out, and I think our low speed is this little guy here. I just don't know which way that means at this moment. If it means it's lean or rich, I need to get a screwdriver. See, it was going down slowly, indicating maybe it was rich. So let's see if the screwdriver is big enough to... I think if I turn it that way, I'm leaning it a little bit. I guess we'll find out here. or it was just getting ready. I don't know where my other screwdriver is. I have one that's supposedly have one that's got a smaller tip on it, but I'm not seeing it in this box right now, and it's probably right in front of my face, and I just don't see it. So anyway, we know that this engine runs, and yes, this carburetor just needs some adjustments to some degree, but heck, let's see if we can run some more fuel through this thing. I mean, this is really pretty spectacular. I really did not expect that this engine would run. I really didn't. If you go back and watch episode 39 of that and look at the piston and sleeve on this ABN style, you would be like, there's no way that engine will run. Okay. Nothing but smiles here. Ryan, I hope you're smiling also, because this is incredible. This engine runs great. Granted, there are some issues with this carb, and like I said, I think I just didn't read about, this style carb. Now on my carb that has the same type of controls, it was already set because I ran my FSR engine with that and I had it set up right. I'm just not certain about this one. I didn't want to sit here and play with it too much because I really can't sit there. It's kind of dangerous to try and mess with that. And I'd like to refresh my memory on those controls. I think this one's the mid-range control, but there's got to be a low speed on there. At least I think there's a low speed and a high speed and a mid-range on these carbs. But anyway, neither here nor there. So the things that we know about this engine are, it's got a fresh set of new Boca bearings in it, and I did not remove any seals on it, so both front and rear are sealed. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I did that just because of the fact that that was the only set of bearings I had for this engine style, and I was going to put them in mine, and I left the seals in because I was really pretty certain that this engine wasn't going to run. So I was like, and if it doesn't run, I'll just pop those bearings out and I'll have them for my engine. However, the engine runs, and it runs pretty darn nice. I mean, it runs really, really nice, actually. I was kind of impressed that I don't think I've ever run an engine with a helicopter head on it, but that cooling head really seems to do a good job. I mean, it really seems to keep the engine cooler. So the other thing with this is, so we know, A, the engine runs well. B, this carb has some issues that I have yet to resolve. Maybe I'll just completely disassemble it and look things over and read the manual on it. But there's also a fuel leak here. So I put I had a new gasket for the rear. I don't know if these engines actually came with gaskets. I don't know. They may have been machined such that they didn't require gaskets, because the manuals only say a gasket set, but it doesn't break down what gaskets there are. Now I know I can get gaskets for them from ICBIM products. So I don't know if it's because there's not a gasket on the front. I was seeing fuel hitting here, raw fuel, as I was running it. Where that was coming from, I don't know for sure. All I know is that the bearing is sealed on both sides. So I don't know if it's coming from here or coming from here, Maybe one of these video angles will be able to tell us that or help us with that. I don't know. Otherwise, all I know is this is a fantastic running engine. It performed way better than I anticipated it. And like I said, to understand that, you really need to go back and look at Engine Talk episode 39, where I talk exclusively about this engine and show the condition of the sleeve and the piston and the internals of the engine. Now, the internals of the engine I cleaned up a lot and got them nice and smooth again, but there was nothing I could do to the piston and sleeve. But hey, man, it runs really well, and this is pretty kick-ass. So anyway, thank you, Ryan. Thank you all for watching. There's your run.